what is your choice? Suppose if you are the member in the selection committee for Indian team. Now you are given two options: to have Shikhar Dhawan in your team and to have Sourav Ganguly in your team. Whom you will select? Do you get my question? What is your choice? Shikhar Dhawan? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. The question is very tough.
Shikhar Dhawan, sir.
Shikhar Dhawan. Why?
Long term.
Ganguly was also a great player. He led the Indian team, isn't it?
Yes.
Why not Ganguly? Why you don't want to have Ganguly now?
He was not consistent longer period.
Now due to the passage of time, he become old. Whatever capability you have seen 20 years before, you can't expect now, right? So that is why you must use the other metric, PPPPK. Yes, Kunal, you have something? If you simply work on CPCPK, you may say you will have Ganguly in your team. But if you use PPPPK, you will definitely, certainly say, I will go with Dhawan only. Because at least next 5 years, my team can be saved.
Yes.
There? So that's very important. When you have a long-term approach, when you want to be successful in a longer term also, then you must use PPPPK. But if you are producing only 100, 100 products, 100 units, CPCPK itself will do. Some of you were telling, sir, while measuring PPAP study, I am using CPCPK. And now suppose if the entire requirement is itself and it's itself few thousand, now CPCPK itself would good enough. Now also Ganguly can play for 2 hours, am I right?
Yes, sir.
But he cannot play for 20 hours or he cannot play for a full day. Now it's basic, may not support. But obviously he can play better than Dhawan when you ask him to play for just 10 or 20 balls. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So the moment you understand the number of units you are going to produce is considerably small, considerably less, CPCPK itself will do. But when you are going to produce for next 5 years, what should be your metric?
PPPPK.
PPPPK. Because over 5 years, there are many ways problem can come. And so you have to be prepared for that. So PPPPK should be used. But what can give you the value of CPCPK and what can give you the value of PPPPK? It all depends on the kind of standard deviation you use, right?
Yes.
And see here, over time, capabilities will reduce. Your capability is a function of variation. And variation is a function of time and demand. So whenever you want to be capable for a longer time, whenever you want to be capable even for a larger demand, you have to measure the appropriate variation. There are 3 types of variation. One is within variation, another one is between variation, and there is one more thing which is called overall variation. Right? If you understand the 3 standard deviation, then use the standard deviation which you want to calculate your within capability, to calculate your between capability, to calculate your overall capability. Now you said I will have Dhawan in my team. That means your focus is on overall capability, isn't it?
Yes.
But when you say I will have only Ganguly, that means your capability is within capability. You only tested Ganguly with 10 balls. And 10 balls, he hit all 10 balls into 6. But when you expect him to play 100 balls or 5,000 balls a day, then, he may not perform in the same way.
It's just like one-day match and test match.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. And so what is the formula for my PPPPK? PPPPK, same way, process performance ratio. Earlier, we told process capability ratio. See, capability is different, performance is different. Capability is different, performance is different, right? So you may be capable of anything, but what you perform, that's the reality, right? So PPPPK is what your customer will feel. Please understand. PPPPK is what your customer will feel. CPCPK is what you think as your capability. So again, it gives a clue that PPPPK is the best measure, right? So PP is called potential process performance ratio. You already understood the meaning of potential. So specification width divided by process width. Formula wise same, but the sigma is going to be different. Now, what is the formula? Overall, sigma overall. Sigma overall means overall standard deviation. That means square root of summation of x minus x bar, the whole square divided by n minus 1. What was the formula earlier for sigma within?
R bar by D.
R bar by
R bar by D2. But now it is different, right? And you should also understand how do you collect the data. The way you collect the data will speak whether what you are measuring is overall standard deviation, or what you are measuring is within standard deviation, or what you are calculating is between standard deviation. And process performance index, same way, PP upper, PP lower, all else same. Only the standard deviation value will differ. And now we will understand in this manner. We will first understand what is PP-PPK and when to use PP-PPK. I already revealed the answer. When to use PP-PPK? When you are looking at a long-term performance. The moment you understand, you are going to meet a larger size of demand, isn't it? Those are the time you can use PP-PPK. And understanding sigma within, sigma between, sigma combined, and sigma overall. And then we will also see a case study with the data. All right. And now there are two processes. And one is in dotted line, another one is in continuous line. This is nothing but your same process. Today, it is operating like a dotted line. Now, whatever capability you are measuring right now are nothing but, sometimes people call it short-term capability, because over longer term, what will happen? Your process will drift a lot, and then your capability will go down, and that is called the long term. So that's what we differentiate as CP-CPK and PP-PPK. Now, so capability depends on the variation in your process as well as the position of center in your process. And now you can measure your capability in two ways, either CP-CPK or PP-PPK. And we call CP-CPK as short-term capability and PP-PPK as long-term capability. Why do you use the word? Because CP-CPK captures only the short-term variation. Within 12 balls, Ganguly, how he is playing. You are studying only over a shorter period. So the capability metrics are called short-term capability metrics. But when you make Ganguly play for a longer period, maybe you make him play for 1,000 balls or something, and now you have data about a longer tenure, and so now that is PP-PPK. Obviously, the PP-PPK will be lower than CP-CPK because general tendency is over time and over increase in the demand, performance drops. And now CP-CPK, and this is what we sometimes call it potential measures. Instead of you use the word short term, or you can say potential measures. And here, instead of saying long term, you can also use the word actual measures. By using different terminologies, you should not get confused. Why do I use the word actual measure? Because this is the capability which your customer will feel from your organization, right? When I continuously buy products from you, this is what I will feel. But this is the short term, right? Now this becomes potential, this becomes actual, right? And this is how CP-CPK is helping you. If your CP-CPK are better than the PP-PPK, that makes you to understand that again, there is a lot of scope to improve your PP-PPK. And now CP-CPK, you can calculate in three ways. Use the sigma within, calculate your CP-CPK. That is called within capability. Use the sigma between, recalculate your CP-CPK. That is called your between capability. You can always combine both within standard deviation and between standard deviation, and that is called within between capability. So how many types of CP-CPK exist? Three types of CP-CPK. Within CPK, between CPK, and combined CPK. Combined CPK is otherwise called within and between capability. And now, overall standard deviation. Use the maximum possible data available and calculate overall standard deviation. Now that will give you overall capability, PP-PPK. It all depends on how do you calculate standard deviation and what is that you want to understand. Right. And this formula, I think the slide is repeating. I already explained. Right. And when to use PP and PPK. One idea I gave you. Yes.
So what is capital X and small x in formula of sigma overall?
Capital X is your data. X bar is your
average.
Average.
Average of the data.
Yeah. In your data, there will be average, right? That is X bar. That's not small x, that is X bar. and
X I1.
this is individual data. You have
X1
under,
X1.
Same as sigma formula. X
yes,
minus
yes.
X bar Y.
Formula is same only. The source of data is
But in that formula, sir, n minus 1 was not under square root, na?
no, everything is under square root.
Everything.
Sir,
Everything
it
is under square.
population and it is sample. Can we say that this is population and sample?
No, always no population. How will you collect? For example, my company produce 25 lakhs products. Can you measure all 25 lakhs products and then calculate the capability by the time the order is processed? Nobody would like to work with the population, isn't it? When I get an order from government to supply 25 lakh units, and what is the point? Collecting data from all 25 lakhs and calculating my capability. Is it going to be helpful for me?
Then please kindly once again repeat it. What is capital X and a small x, please?
No, capital X is your individual reading. X bar is average.
Okay,
Imagine.
okay. Average of all the readings.
Average of all the readings. See, these are all estimation. Please understand. We generally working with the population is descriptive statistics. We are not interested in descriptive statistics. What is descriptive? Everything is production is done. And now how your company has performed in the past. That is descriptive. Is that your interest is to understand the past or your interest is to predict the future? Predict the future. Then you have to work only with the sample. Future means population is not available.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
So sample is only available. I have set up my factory. I put 100 crores. Now I want to know where will be my company after 10 years. If I continue, producing in the same way, after 10 years, where I will be? I will take a sample and I will tell you correctly. This will be your position, right? So sample will help us to predict the population. That is what we call it inferential statistics, right? The formula is same only, right? And then this is also explained. And now, when to use PPPPK? One idea already you have. When you want to meet a large demand or you want to produce over a longer period of time, close your eyes. You have to measure PPPPK only. Suppose you want to, somebody orders for a product which you need to supply only over 1 week. Next 1 week, he is giving you an order. Now which metric will be helpful? Go for CPCPK. Isn't it? Within a week, not much problem can come. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right. But you are getting an order from a government for next 10 years, and then now you must start monitoring PPPPK. That is one thing. And another, statistically, how can you find out? If your process is in a state of statistical control. No, if your process is in a state of statistical control, use CPCPK. If your process is not in a state of statistical control, you must use PPPPK. Somebody raised a doubt. Sir, I'm doing a PPAP study. I'm using CPCPK. Is it correct approach?
No.
It can be correct. It can be correct with the previous idea. What is the previous idea? My production is going to be only for next 15 days.
Sir,
Sir,
I have a doubt. During pilot lot, means during PPAP, they are asking for CPCPK. After that, they are asking for ongoing capability study.
Correct. No, whenever you measure capability, you always have an option to go for CPCPK or PPPPK. Right? Any moment you can measure CPCPK, you can also measure PPPPK. See, if your customer himself wants CPCPK, you have no other option. You have to give him CPCPK only. But you should know what you measured is CPCPK or PPPPK. Am I right? I think he got stuck. All right.
For the shorter period, it will be CPCPK, and for the longer period, it will be PPPK.
That's all. That's all. Right. And also, in both cases, whether it is shorter period or longer period, if your process is under statistical control, your CPCPK and PPPPK will start approaching each other, will become closer. Once you understand both are approaching each other, you can switch to CPCPK. That means once you are able to achieve statistical control, start using CPCPK. Even for a longer term also, if you can maintain the statistical control, then you can switch to CPCPK. But if your process is, yes?
To ensure my process is under statistical control.
Raj Singh, your voice is always low. You have to be louder.
Hello. Sir, to ensure my process is under statistical control, we have to calculate otherwise CPCPK, na? Then only we can comment on
No,
that.
to understand your process is under statistical control or not, you just plot a control chart. That's all. That will speak. Plot a control chart. If you get all the points inside the control limit, and now go ahead with the CPCPK. But if points are falling outside the control limit, what does it mean? There are a lot of variation not under your control. Clear?
Right.
When lot of variations are not under your control, then you take it up as a project, find out the root cause, fix. Now all the points will fall inside the control limit. And now you achieve statistical control. And now let us understand.
Sir,
And imagine,
this you said that if the process is not in under statistical control, use PPPPK. That's what you are saying.
yes, if your process is not in statistical control,
So if
you must calculate PPPK only. But many companies are not doing it. I know that. Because there is a lot of confusion in the understanding, they always measure CPCPK. Right? Can I
if
proceed?
my process is not in statistical control, this PP can I use PPPPK? And, then is it able to give my sigma level in that case?
Yes. See, PPPK will help you understand what is your capability, what is your sigma level, what could be your rejections. But PPPK will project more rejections. That is why I want you to calculate PPPK when your process is out of statistical control. Since you lag in control, obviously rejections will be more. Right?
Okay, so when my process is not in statistical control, my PPPK value will be very low. That's what you are saying.
Yes.
Sigma level will be low.
That is the actual capability. Right? Right. Anyway, maybe let us discuss the data also. Then you will better understand.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes, please.
As per AIAG, a CPK should be more than 1.67. Is there any guideline for PPK?
No. That is the guideline. But prior to switching to CPCPK, you must achieve statistical control. Always please understand. Without achieving statistical control, measuring the capability has no meaning. You remember I told you, stability is the foundation. Capability is your building. Which is more important?
Capability.
Stability. Right? Stability is more important. Once stability is there, then you can go to the capability. So AIAG guidelines demands for the statistical control also. Only after statistical control, you measure your capability. Your building foundation is strong. Now you check whether 100 people can be inside the building or 1,000 people are inside the building. If building is weak and you are focusing on putting 10,000 people in the building, your building will withstand? No. It's not going to withstand. It will collapse, right? And that is why, always before testing capability, you must ensure you achieved your statistical control. Once you achieved the statistical control, there is no much difference between CPCPK and PPPK, right? Right. And now, anyway, with the data, you will better understand. See, there is a company which is doing some coating and measuring the dimension or finish or something, right? So the coating thickness or something is measured. You understand? And the requirement is 50 mm. Requirement is 50 mm. And customer gave a tolerance of plus or minus 3. Maybe mm or microns. Let us have it micron. 50 micron plus or minus 3 mm. And now, what is USL? 53. What is LSL? 47. And now for doing the coating, they used the raw material. And raw material comes in roll. Roll number 1 is used for some time. Then roll number 2 is used for some time. Roll number 3 is used for some time. It goes on like this. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And now, when you use roll number 1, your results are like this. When I shift from roll number 1 to roll number 2, my results are like this. So the first three data are samples collected when I am doing my manufacturing using roll number 1. So this variation will speak about within variation of roll number 1.
Yes.
This variation will speak about within variation of roll number 2.
Yes.
This 3 data is speaking the variation about roll number 3. It goes on like this. How many within variation are there? 25. 25 roles are used, and so I can capture the within variation here. How can I calculate the variation when there are only 3 data? Range. What is maximum minus minimum? That range is a measure of variation within roll number 1. Similarly, R2 will be the measure of variation within roll number 2. Likewise, how many ranges I can have?
20.
25 ranges. Now, what is between variation here? When I change from roll number 1 to 2, can you see a difference between the two groups? First group data is here, second group data is here. This is something like your reproducibility. So take the average of first roll, take the average of second roll, take the average of third roll. How many average you will get?
25.
Now with the 25 data, you calculate a standard deviation. Now 25 is a big number. You don't have to use the range formula. You go for your square root of formula. Square root of summation of x minus x bar the whole square divided by n minus 1. Now what is that standard deviation? That standard deviation will represent between variation. Clear? When you combine both, that is called combined variation. Clear? All of you are with me?
Yes, sir.
Sir, within batch variation understood, we will just divide the range by D2.
Yes.
And between batch understood, we'll take average and find based upon formula.
Yes.
Calculate. How
Yes.
will be calculating combined variation?
Combined is nothing but you just have to add both. Add
Yes.
2 standard deviation.
Adding
add-
both standard
Yeah,
deviation.
how you remember in gauge R&R we combined the repeatability sigma and reproducibility sigma. How we
Right.
combined? We squared both, added them together, and then we took the square root.
Yeah, square root of
Yeah.
adding both the squares.
Very good. That is called combined sigma.
And while calculating within range divided by D2,
Yes.
D2 again we have to take from the table.
Yes, same table of control chart. Yes, I will show everything.
Right.
And now you understood within, you understood between, you understood combined.
Sir, excuse me. Sir,
Yes.
this you said this we have to calculate average of each and every subgroup,
Yes.
whatever 3 readings,
Yes.
and then we have to calculate the standard deviations. So when we
Yes.
were doing this PPN, or when we were calculating this overall standard deviation,
Yes.
we were doing the same thing, isn't it? We were calculating the average, and then we
No,
were
no, I
calculating-
will explain. Just try to follow me. I explained 3 sigmas. Within sigma, between sigma, combined sigma. Is that understood?
That's understood.
Yes, wait. And then we have to move on to 4th sigma. What is 4th sigma? Overall standard deviation. Totally, how many data you are seeing in the slide? Near about
75.
75 data. Use all the 75 data and calculate the standard deviation. That is overall standard deviation. Is that 4th standard deviation also understood?
Understood.
If standard deviation is understood, within capability, between capability, between capability, and overall capability is also understood. That's all. No more confusion.
Understood, sir. Understood. Thank you.
All right. Now we will proceed. And now I'm showing you the calculation. First row, number of subgroups. Number of subgroups are how many? Number of roles. How many roles we used?
25.
25.
25 roles. Subgroup size, number of data in each subgroup, 3. So total
3.
number of data, number of subgroup in subgroup size, 75.
75.
And now range within subgroup, we call it within variation. Maximum minus minimum. Every subgroup had 3 data, and so I get 1 range. R1, R2 up to R25. Clear? And then variation within subgroup. What is the formula? R bar by D2. What is
Yes.
R bar? Add all the ranges, divide by 25. What is D2? For a subgroup size of 3, it is 1.693.
Stable
Clear?
value, no, sir? It is a table value. No?
This is
It's
the
mentioned.
table value.
Yes, sir.
Table value also you can see here.
Yes, sir.
Subgroup size 3. What is the D2 value you are seeing here?
1.69.
1.693, right?
Yes.
Table I have given in the manual. You can see it. And so substitute the value. Now you are getting sigma within. Sigma within is found to be 0.4139. Is it clear how the sigma within is calculated?
Yes.
Done. Now standard deviation of subgroup averages. Standard deviation of subgroup averages is here, and then sigma between is here, right? Because some adjustment required between the two. So standard deviation of subgroup averages, there are 25 subgroups. And so 25 averages you have. With the 25 data, use this kind of formula. Sigma x minus x bar the whole square by n minus 1. Now standard deviation is found to be 0.7805. Right? This is standard deviation of subgroup averages. It is something like your reproducibility. Do you remember while teaching you reproducibility, I told you within reproducibility, there is a repeatability component. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
And that has to be adjusted. That has to be adjusted. So I'm doing that adjustment. And that means s square minus r bar by d to the whole square. That gives me sigma between. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. And now combined standard deviation. What is combined standard deviation? Sigma within and sigma between should be combined. I square 0.4139, I square 0.6617, and then after squaring, I add them. Then I take the square root, and now my result is combined standard deviation. All right. Sigma between gets me here. All right. And now overall standard deviation. What is overall standard deviation? There are 75 data points. Use all the 75 data points, calculate the standard deviation. Now you are getting 0.8384. Look here, which standard deviation is higher? Within is higher, or between is higher, or overall is higher?
Overall is higher.
Overall is higher. This generally will happen, right? And now whatever standard deviation you are using, accordingly you will get the capability. For example, if your process is statistically in control, right? Statistically in control, and now you are using sigma within. So what will you get? Within capability. And within capability, your CP is 2.46, CPK is 2.37. Understood. Now again you are using CPK only. And here also it should be in control, right? Sorry, I put out of control. Process should be in control. And now you are using the sigma combined. If you are, sorry, this is correct only. So out of control means you can do it like that. So sigma combined, because sigma combined takes into account your between also. So what happened? Your CP reduces to 1.26 and 1.21. This reduces to 1.21. And process is out of control, or you wanted to understand the long-term capability, then use your overall standard deviation. That will get you PPK. And see here, your PP is 1.19, PPK is 1.15. That means, what do you understand? When your process is is under complete statistical control, you can use this, and you can consider this as your capability. But when there is no statistical control is not achieved, you have a doubt, there are a lot of special causes exist, then either you go for combined or you go for the overall. And between the two, I think overall will give the more realistic picture. And that is why I told you, go for PPK. When the process comes to a state of statistical control, that means absolutely there are no special causes. When there are absolutely no special causes, the experience is going to be same every time you run the process. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Sir, no. When experiences are going to be same every time, then your CP, sigma within, the within capability, between capability, actual capability, everything will be almost same. Why everything becomes almost same? Sigma combined will become very, very minimum. Sigma between. Sigma between will become very, very minimum. When sigma between becomes very minimum, your sigma combined, sigma combined will be almost equal to the within standard deviation. What is within standard deviation? 0.41. All of you are with me? So when you reduce the variation, fix all the special causes, the between variation will be negligible. Whatever product I am supplying to Chennai, whatever product I am supplying to Bangalore, everything will have the same quality. All my biscuits, all my chips will have the same quality. You buy a Lay's chips, do you always see the same quality?
Yes.
Yes or no? That means between standard deviation is reduced to a greater extent. Now, between standard deviation, you are not allowing to play. If you are not allowing to play, the sigma combined will be simply equal to sigma within. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Under such situation, even if you calculate sigma overall, that will be more or less closer to sigma within. You will only name it PPK, but value will be closer to CPK. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So now you have understood this is the table. And now I'm showing you a process. I'm showing a control chart. Now tell me, is this process under statistical control?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Because there are a lot of special causes.
Yes,
And
sir.
now tell me, what is the better metric to better measure of capability? Under such a condition, you want to measure your capability. Now tell me, what will you recommend?
PPPK.
PPPK, right? Unless and until you eliminate all these out of control points, don't think of measuring CPCPK. That is not going to be helpful. Maybe you can cheat your customer. You can tell your customer your CPCPK. Why? Because he is asking. But as a black belt, you must try to use PPPK only. So process is statistically out of control. Is that clear?
Yes.
But when I remove all the dots, then I will see my sigma between coming down. What is sigma between? See here, X bar chart is only out of control, isn't it?
Yes.
My sigma between is coming down. My sigma between is negligible. And now my CPCPK will speak better. Even when I calculate my PPPK, it is more closer to CPCPK. All right. And now for the same data, this is Minitab report. Look at the PP. How much is the PP? 1.19. Look at your CP. CP is within capability. How much it is?
2.46.
2.46.
We also worked out and got a closer value. And now, one more. Oh, this is actual and this is okay, potential. So potential means CP. Actual means PPPK, right? So your customer will see actual only, right? And this is your potential. Potential means you are measuring CPCPK. And to make them close to each other, you must reduce your sigma between. And now, and see here, again, another Minitab report, the LSL is 47, USL is 53, sample mean is available, overall standard deviation is calculated, and then, within standard deviation is calculated. When you see B by W, that means within capability, right? So within capability pulls down your CP drastically. It comes to only 1.26. Why? Because your sigma between is higher. Your process is out of control. And now, once you know all these things, obviously the templates or you with your knowledge on normal distribution table, you yourself can calculate. See here, PPM, total PPM is somewhere around 393. This is calculated. These are all estimated. So PP values are available here. So whenever process is out of control, the better measure is PPPK only. Once you fix all the special causes and achieve the statistical control, now right time to go for the CPCPK. So what I do is I will share the Excel sheet.